All right. Now, if your site is full of dense text, people will bounce instantly. The site looks too hard to read and not very interesting. So you got to pay attention to these two topics, readability and usability, if you want any of the other techniques that I teach you to work, and even have a chance of working. See, people get headaches and eye strain from looking at screens too long. So anything you do to make it easier for them to see your site without strain is to your benefit and to their benefit. I mean, I've done entire episodes on both those topics, readability and usability, and I highly suggest before you implement any of these other things I'm going to teach you today, that you go back and review those and look at your site with a critical eye and fix the things. Because if it's not readable that easy, and if it's not usable that easy, and things that, since you're involved in it, you wouldn't notice as compared to a new visitor, then you're not going to have success with people staying on your site. So anyway, readability was episode 312, and usability was episode 313. The reason they're entire episodes for each one of those is because there's a lot of details. None of it's hard, but it's stuff you probably never thought about. So screwthecommute.com/312 for readability and screwthecommute.com/313 for usability. So that's where you start. Make sure you have done everything properly on those episodes, and it's going to pay off greatly for you, I'm telling you. All right, let's get into some things you can do that will automatically keep people on your site longer. One of the main things is video. If people watch even a 2-minute video on your site, that's more than twice as long than the average visitor stays on a site. Now, time on site, which is what we're talking about here, covers wide ranges based on your industry, whether you're business to consumer, business to business. And what I'm going to read you next comes from a site called clipfolio.com in their Metric headquarters, Metric HQ. So this is a quote from them. A good benchmark for average time on a page is 52 seconds and that's across multiple industries where they base their data from 20 billion user sessions. Now, B2B websites have the highest average time on page, which is around 82 seconds, where just an average run-of-the-mill across industry site is 52 seconds. But it says a good average time on page depends on many factors, including the type of device the person is on, the industry, and the target audience. Now, I put a link in there where they have a whole bunch of graphs on different industries and average times on site. And so your goal is to beat these averages and beat them really bad, all right? Because if you do a good job at what I teach you in this episode, you could do 10, 20, 30 times the average by using these techniques. All right. Anyway, back to videos. Now, one thing I've said on many other episodes that I really want to emphasize again here is we love YouTube. We love YouTube. However, we love YouTube for one specific reason, and that is to catch people, all the hundreds of millions of people that go to YouTube. We want to catch our share of them and funnel them. I don't like to throw around the word funnel that much, but anyway, send them to your website on a one-way ticket, all right, to your website. See, if you get lazy and your web people get lazy and they just take what we call the embed code from YouTube. So that means you can just put a piece of code in and your YouTube video will show up on your website. And you think, well, that's great? That's easy, right? Let YouTube do all the heavy lifting of these big files and everything. Well, yeah, that might sound good on the surface, but that's the lazy way to do it. And it doesn't help you in the long run. And here's why. When YouTube allows you to do this, they're always going to make it easy for people to go back to YouTube and for